It's Labor Day, the official kickoff, so the presidential contest is heating up. And yesterday, Republican candidate Carly Fiorina hitting Donald Trump on his foreign policy experience.
I think it is very difficult to lead if you don't have the requisite knowledge. And I think it's perfectly acceptable that you don't know the name of every terrorist leader. I don't always either. I do think it's important to know who our enemies are.
Well, joining us now is that presidential candidate, Carly Fiorina. Nice to see you this morning, Carly. Happy Labor Day.
Morning.
Well, good morning. Happy Labor Day to all of you.
Thank you so much. We have to ask you that going after Donald Trump hasn't worked out so well for some of the other candidates, whom a lot of people aren't really talking about much anymore. Is that a smart line of attack to go after the Donald?
Well, I didn't feel as though I was attacking Mr. Trump particularly. I was answering a question, which is, does leadership require understanding? And I think it does. Whether you're leading a business or leading the free world, I think a certain level of understanding is really required. I went on to say that I understand how the economy works. I understand how the world works and who's in it, who are our allies, who are our adversaries. I understand how bureaucracies work, which is important because Washington, D.C. has become one giant bloated bureaucracy. I understand technology, which is an important tool and an important weapon that's being used against us. And I understand leadership, what it is. And what it is, among other things, is solving problems, challenging the status quo, and unlocking the potential of this nation.
And Carly, I want to ask you, while we're sticking with international issues right now, with this refugee crisis that's going on, it simply can't be ignored. We had Vice President Dick Cheney, we just showed a soundbite from him earlier, saying that President Obama is to blame for his lack of leadership in the region, not taking ISIS serious enough, tiptoeing around with Assad. Do you agree with Vice President Dick Cheney, and where do we go from here now that this is the hand of cards that we've been dealt?
Well, I do agree. Look, the world is a more dangerous and a more tragic place when the United States is not leading. And we have not been leading for a long time. Neither President Obama nor Secretary of State Clinton led. And so 3 years ago in Syria, there were a lot of options available to us. But this administration stood back from all of those options. And when you fail to lead, what happens over time is your options diminish and situations worsen. That's happened in Ukraine and Russia. It's happened in Syria. This refugee crisis, and it is heartbreaking beyond belief, but it was entirely predictable. In fact, the UN estimates there are somewhere between 43 and 60 million people on the move trying to escape conflict zones. And so we knew this was coming. It has absolutely been a lack of leadership on Obama and Clinton's part.
Carly, it's Ed Henry, and I wanted to give you a chance to defend Donald Trump, but also maybe give us an idea of your line of attack against Hillary Clinton in the days ahead. You're in New Hampshire this morning, and Hillary Clinton was there this weekend and hitting Donald Trump and other Republican candidates on the issue of women's health. And she was saying, it sounded to me, as she's trailing Bernie Sanders in that state of New Hampshire now, with this new poll out this morning, that she's trying to revive this talk of a war on women.
Well, first of all, boo-hoo Mrs. Clinton. I mean, Mrs. Clinton is the same person who compared Republicans to terrorists. For heaven's sakes, I actually wish Mr. Trump would throw a little more heat Hillary Clinton's way. I feel sometimes as though I'm the only candidate who's consistently been critical of her. The truth is, Mrs. Clinton has lied as Secretary of State about Benghazi, about her emails, about her server. And so when she revives this war on women, and make no mistake, she will, this is her go-to line. And of course, we now know that Planned Parenthood doesn't have a lot to do with women's health. It does have to do with the character of this nation. And I hope very much that our leaders in Congress will once and for all pass the Pain-Capable Unborn Child Protection Act and defund Planned Parenthood.
Go ahead. Carly, I just wonder if I can get a gotcha question in here, which is that I'm told by a source it was your birthday. It was your birthday yesterday, and I wonder, I'm not going to give your age, but I want to know what you did.
Can you, smart man.
Smart man.
Smart man.
Can you actually celebrate a birthday when you're campaigning? How do you do that?
Well, first of all, I'm 61 years old. I'm not ashamed of my age at all. I'm a cancer survivor. We've lost a younger daughter, and every day is to be celebrated. You know, the goal of life is to grow old and do it with dignity and grace, because not everybody gets that chance. So I had a wonderful birthday. Actually, I was here in New Hampshire with my husband Frank, with some of our campaign team. We met a lot of great voters. It was a terrific day. So thanks so much.
Well, we appreciate it. Happy birthday. And you're right, an inspiring message for people to celebrate every day with their family. Thanks for joining us on Labor Day.
Thank you so
Happy
much.
Labor Day. Thanks, Carly.